5% of men are competing for 80% of women and 95% of men are competing for 20% of women. In simple logic, you need to become a high value man when it comes to all the pillars which matter in the relationship. Your health matters for sure due to natural selection, wealth matters for sure, and obviously relationships matter, spirituality matter, emotional control matters. Keep that in mind. Even if you are in a good and happy relationship right now, goal should be becoming a high value man, because get into that 5% and you would have a lot of room to choose.
Communication is one of the most important parts in any relationship. Even if you are breaking up, you can communicate your feelings in a better manner and you both can split apart with understanding as to what were the reasons that you guys are splitting apart, rather than being confused कि ये क्यों हो रहा है.
Yes, and this was a problem with me also for very long in my own relationship कि यार मैं communicate ही नहीं करता था, because feared of rejection even after being in a relationship with a long-term partner.
As a man, you should be the one who should be leading the communication. It's not about being a man or woman, but still कोई चीज अच्छी नहीं लगती है, sometimes just communicating it with the other partner can solve so many issues. नहीं तो वही pent up होता रहता है and then break up, boom, and you have no freaking idea what really happened and you're all confused, and for the next 6 months, 1 year, you're only confused. Sometimes tragedy and sometimes comedy. But we all will agree that breakups are the most memorable experience of our lives. शायद हमारे रिलेशनशिप से भी ज़्यादा मेमोरेबल हमारे ब्रेकअप्स होते हैं. एंड आज के एपिसोड में एट बीइंग मेन वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस हाउ टू डील विद ब्रेकअप्स विद माय फ्रेंड, co-host and none other than Yashvardhan Swami.
So guys, welcome to another episode of Being Men, and today we talk about breakups. जैसे अभी अभिनव ने मेंशन किया कि यार breakups हमें relationship से ज़्यादा याद रहते हैं because our human brain is wired for that. Our human brain is wired to focus on the negative.
Yes.
Right? And again, so a lot of times हम good part भूल जाते हैं, bad part याद आता है. And talking about today's topic, it is so important for us men because men don't talk about this stuff like at all with anyone, and if they do, men are stopped.
Yes.
कि यार क्या लड़कियों की तरह कर रहा है, and अजीब से solution दिए जाते हैं breakup के लिए, which we would be discussing in a second. So अभिनव, talking about breakup history, relationship history, मेरे पास इतना डेटा नहीं है, so let's start with your story of breakups and पहली बार कैसा था breakup. So एंड आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन विद द स्टोरीज. पहले ब्रेकअप और आखिरी ब्रेकअप में जब ये हुआ, उसमें कितना, व्हाट वाज द बिगेस्ट डिफरेंस यू हैड और बिगेस्ट थिंग यू लर्नड?
देखो यार, पहले तो एज यू सेड कि मेमोरेबल इसलिए क्योंकि नेगेटिव बायस ज़्यादा होता है हमारा माइंड, एंड उसके पीछे रीज़न है बिकॉज ब्रेकअप्स आर पेनफुल एंड पेन इज़ फेल्ड नॉट जस्ट इन द बॉडी बट इन द माइंड एज वेल. एंड सर्वाइवल स्ट्रैटेजी के हिसाब से जो भी चीज़ आपको पेन देती है वो आप ज़्यादा याद रखते हो ताकि अगली बार आपको उतना पेन ना फील हो एंड यू कैन बी अ लिटिल कॉशियस. सो जस्ट इन द सेम मैनर जो पहला ब्रेकअप था, सो आई हैव बीन थ्रू लाइक 3 ब्रेकअप्स एंड आई डोंट नो इट्स फॉर्चुनेट और अनफॉर्चुनेट, तीनों बार आई हैव बीन द वन हु हैज़ ब्रोकन अप. बट तीनों बार डेफिनेटली यू नो आई हैव वर्कड ऑन माई सेल्फ इन अ वे कि जो फर्स्ट वाला था वो सबसे पेनफुल था. सेकंड वाले में कोपिंग स्ट्रैटेजी इतनी आ चुकी थी दिमाग में और शरीर में कि हाँ सेकंड वाला पेनफुल था बट आई वाज रेडी फॉर इट. एंड थर्ड वन वाज लाइक आई थिंक आई वाज रियली रेडी फॉर इट. इट डिडंट इफेक्ट मी टू मच. इट डिड इफेक्ट मी टू सम एक्सटेंट बट नॉट एज मच एज आई वुड से द फर्स्ट 2 ones did. So that's about it. I think जो पहला breakup था, it happened when I just shifted to this new career, modeling thing, and I was in college and I was dating my partner. It went on for good 2.5 years, and just when my career was about to take off, she had to move on to different kind of a career, and she was taking a different journey, so we had to do that. And the second time it was like, I think all the 3 times it was the same thing, that our priorities and careers and the paths that we wanted to take in our life, they changed. So eventually I had to call them off. So that has been my story. You tell about yours.
Okay, so I have dealt with one breakup, but the relationship wasn't very long.
Right.
So yes, ब्रेकअप हिस्ट्री थोड़ी सी रही है, बट आपने जो मेरे को बताया कि सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है कि you initiated the breakups.
Yes.
But I'll give you a fact. I got this from Jordan Peterson. Women initiate 90% of divorces. This study is on divorces because obviously breakup पे study करना difficult है. So काइंड ऑफ अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं विमेन क्यों ये इनिशिएट करती हैं.
Right.
2 reasons. First is women are more neurotic in nature, personality type की थोड़ा women overthink a lot of things.
Yes.
But that is not a bad thing. बहुत बार इसको नेगेटिव ट्रेड देखा जाता है. दैट इज अ गुड थिंग बिकॉज women are wired to bear a child. Right. So if women are wired to bear a child, they know that I need to be with a person who is competent,
Right.
who would be able to take care of me and my child
Yes.
during the time
Yes.
when during the time of pregnancy and the
Yes.
first few years when I would have to totally invest in the child.
Right.
That means I won't be able to maybe make money is
Yes.
one part.
Yes.
So man ka protector and provider hona is very important during this time, and this is wiring, right? This is how the woman is wired, because logically bhi socho to this is correct. When the woman is pregnant,
Yes.
she can't be efficient in earning money. I'm not saying a woman cannot, but it's different for everybody. Second is when taking care of a newborn is a full-time job in itself. Right? So that's why women are wired to kind of overthink, because they just don't have to think about themselves.
Yes.
They have to think about the future child and everything else. So that is one of these are the main reasons that women initiate breakups and stuff like this, although आपके केस में opposite था.
No, it's a very I'm very happy that you brought that survival thing into that, because I think a lot of our behavior, whether it's men or women, we are actually wired to that survival level, that sometimes we take actions or we take decisions that are not in our control.
Yes.
That will happen eventually. So women के case में women are very picky. They have to be picky, because the cost of making a mistake in choosing the wrong partner is way more for a woman than for a man. The reason being is the child. For example, there's a woman and probably out of emotions, or let's say she has just given a commitment to a guy, and over a period of time she understands, okay, I love this guy, this is my heart and soul, but somehow she feels she is not fit for her child, but she gives to the emotions, and she, let's say, get married, and the child is there, right? But the male is not fit enough to take care of the female or the child. So it's actually the cost to a female, right? Or the male is not fit enough to survive. So if the male goes out of the agenda, or if goes out of the picture, the female has to take care of the baby alone.
Yes.
Right. So it's a huge cost to bear. A man, he's free, like he has to just work on himself, and he can find a partner and stuff. Of course, a woman can also get, because women, they do get a lot of attention, but eventually, according to the survival mechanism, the cost is too big. So that's one of the reasons that females are very choosy and very picky about the mates that they pick, and that is why that neurotic thing and that being choosy that comes into play.
Guys, one thing which I would like to mention here is कि हम natural wiring की बात कर रहे हैं based off evolution, right? हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि yes, if you I think there are studies on this that when men and women both turn 60, and when they are asked what was the most important decision of your life,
right,
all of them literally say that finding or not being able to find the right partner.
Yes.
Right. So it applies for both men and women, but हम strictly wiring की बात कर रहे हैं.
Right.
Natural wiring की, and lot of times women consciously don't know why they are doing things.
Yes.
Right. So that is another aspect. Apart from that, this is not the only aspect. Society is one aspect. Right. What a woman values. Right. Because Abhinav ने जैसे mention किया कि a man is fit. Now fitness can be physical, can be emotional, can be in terms of money. Can be in terms of family. A lot of factors come into play, because one of the factors in our Indian homes is that the woman has to move in with the guy's family in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Right. So that's another factor which has to be considered. So fitness ki definition, everyone would be different with that. Same goes for men. Men would deem a partner fit based off maybe different factors. Right. For someone, it might be someone who has a career, a woman having a career. For some, it might be emotional intelligence. For some, it might be family values.
Yes.
Right. And in most cases, it's a mixture of the things which we are discussing here.
Yeah. Survival plus society, like both things,
yes,
women consider that.
Yes. And talking about misconceptions, सबसे बड़ी misconception की बात करता हूँ कि misconception is that breakups, men do not get affected by breakups. इतनी बड़ी misconception है. Actually, today in the morning only I was googling studies, and there are so many studies which which conclude that men are affected much more than women when it comes to a breakup.
Yes.
Maybe, but इसमें मैंने एक चीज derive करी. Maybe the cause can be that cause can be linked with the fact that 70% of women initiate divorces.
Yes, that's one of the
Right,
things.
so
Yes.
एक साइकोलॉजी वाली सिंपल सी बात है, जिसने फर्स्ट स्टेप लिया है उसका मे बी ब्रेकअप का, दैट पर्सन माइट हैव अ प्लान इन द माइंड.
Yes.
राइट, प्लान इन द माइंड, और दैट पर्सन माइट बी थिंकिंग लॉन्ग टर्म.
Yes.
सो यहाँ थोड़ा सा ग्रे एरिया आ जाता है. सो अभिनव, सो क्वेश्चन, फर्स्ट ब्रेकअप हुआ आपका, were you able to share it with someone, especially friends or something like that, या आपने खुद ही self work किया?
This is one of the things because whenever I'm dealing with clients, whether it's just related to fitness or men's coaching, I always say before you get into a relationship, always have an anchor to protect yourself. As I said, uss time I had a career that I was trying to build up. So breakup was difficult, but I always had an anchor. I always had something where I could channelize my energies into. So as we talked about in the last episode, that your energy cannot be created or destroyed. The energies are in there. So whatever it was sadness, disappointment, whatever is flowing through, I channelized all that into my work. So that was how I was able to cope up with that particular thing. And every time I've gotten into a relationship, it has only happened when I've had that anchor, whether it's my work, my businesses that I'm trying to take care of. So all the men out there, I would say, always have an anchor before you get into a relationship, because you never know until you are married. You never know what is going to be the destiny of your relationship. So if the relationship doesn't turn out as you expected, you always have something to hold on to, because that is one thing that will help you to come out of that.
बहुत अच्छा पॉइंटर है. जैसे आपने मेंशन किया कि बहुत बार फर्स्ट रिलेशनशिप में स्पेसिफिकली क्या होता है कि वन साइडेड अप्रोच पे चले जाते हैं, मेन एंड वुमेन बोथ, दैट अपने पार्टनर के अलावा जिंदगी में और कुछ दिखता ही नहीं. बट फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर इज स्पेसिफिकली फॉर गाइज, right? You are just into your partner all the time, but if you are not working on your career and your health, specifically career, sooner or later the partner might start thinking that everything is fine, this person is giving me 100%, but this person does not have a life outside, right? This person does not have a career,
right?
So don't have a one-sided approach, like Abhinav mentioned. Have an anchor in life.
Yes.
Right. Health has to be an anchor for everybody, because if health is not good, you won't be able to enjoy your relationships and wealth.
Yes.
But keep on working on your career.
Yes. Also, I've a lot of people, when they look at me, they say ki, probably you are too hard as a man. And a lot of men, we try to be hard, whether it's in front of the camera or in front of the people. That's how we are wired. And I'm a Cancerian, but so even I've fallen into love. I've been at that stage ki pura pyar hai, like this is the center of my life. I won't say everything, but yeah, like if initial jo pehla relationship tha, it was something the same thing, that wo innocence wala ki this is the only thing that I want the most in life, and the work and everything goes. But eventually it turns out that for a man, the first and the foremost thing is whatever he's trying to create in terms of work, his status, money, whatever he wants to achieve in life, like that, when that becomes the center, then it becomes a little easier to tackle all these issues that are happening in life, whether it's just relationship with your partner or relationship with your family, friends, whatever it is going through.
Yes, this is a very good pointer. But another thing which I would like to mention here is that, talking about men, the timing when it hits men is very different.
Yes.
First week, at least it was the case with me, again guys, this is not science, but मैंने अपने केस में देखा, first one to 2 weeks मेरे को, I was all good.
Right.
I was all happy, everything is good and stuff like that. In my case also, the breakup was initiated by me. But first 2 weeks I was all good, ये वो जिम जा रहा हूँ अच्छे से, अलग ही लेवल पे फ्रेंड्स के साथ घूम रहा हूँ. But suddenly after maybe 2 weeks, when I realized, okay, it has gotten real,
right,
that's when it hit me, and it hit me much harder.
Right.
Versus for women, I think it hits them immediately, and that's why their recovery process starts faster.
Yes.
And they are able to recover properly. So, like we mentioned, the biggest challenge with us men is that, we think कि यार ब्रेकअप से कोई फ़र्क ही नहीं पड़ता. So, सबसे बड़ी misconception ये है कि ब्रेकअप के बाद when we are not feeling our 100%, we have no one to go to.
Right.
And lot of us might end up feeling कि यार I am not normal because बाकियों को कुछ फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा उनके ब्रेकअप से. It's just that, I believe that a lot of guys acting like studs, right? So that is the case. So if you are someone who's being affected by a breakup, that's actually a very good thing, right? Don't think you are not normal.
Yes.
Because अगर effect नहीं हो रहा तो कुछ problem है.
Yes.
That means maybe you were in the wrong relationship.
Yes.
That means you are not emotionally capable to feel certain things,
Yes.
right? Because in the end वो फिर it would keep on getting stored in your brain, and it would come back in different ways long term.
Yes.
So
yes, definitely. As like वही energy cannot be created, not be destroyed. उसको दबा के रखोगे, it will come out as an health issue. And I know I've been a culprit of the same, and I've seen a lot of clients doing the same thing. And I would like to point out two things, Yash. सबसे पहले you said that it takes us 2 to 3 weeks. वो initially जब होता है ना, it's firstly females के लिए it starts almost immediately, because they're emotionally, वो कहते हैं ना, females वो दिल से बहुत ज़्यादा सोचते हैं, like emotionally they are more attached to anything or a person than a male. But for a male, it takes a while to actually realize that there's something missing, there's a void in there. And that void, what I have understood through my experiences and through having conversations with other people, is कि आप एक्चुअल में जब किसी के साथ इतनी डीपली इंटीमेट होते हो, यू आर शेयरिंग ऑलमोस्ट एवरीथिंग विद दैट पर्सन, यू आर नॉट मिसिंग दैट पर्सन एज मच एज यू आर मिसिंग योर सेल्फ. यू रियली मिस अ पार्ट ऑफ योर सेल्फ. एंड आई डोंट केयर कि आपका कोई बेस्ट फ्रेंड है या आपका कोई फ्रेंड है, आपका फैमिली मेम्बर है, बट व्हेन यू आर really intimate with your partner, you actually be yourself. And when you miss yourself, that is when you start becoming more miserable. And that is why it takes a while for us to realize. Second thing is, females usually, when a female goes through a breakup, there are dozens of men waiting to give her attention and to pounce on the opportunity. For males, it is not like that. For males, probably their own friends might be waiting for that female to get a breakup from this guy, and they might want to pounce on that the female. But for a male, it's a very lonely road. Like no one wants to listen to a male or a man. अच्छा तेरा breakup हुआ है, okay कोई बात नहीं, चल यार दारू पी यार, तू ठीक हो जा, ठीक हो, रोना बंद कर, रोने. So that is also another reason that males do not get too much of attention when they go through a breakup, and it is taken as फिर क्या होगा, ब्रेकअप ही है यार, आगे बहुत मछली पड़ी है. These are the kind of dialogues that we use. 7 billion people on the planet, क्या हो गया? Yes. And it is practical advice, but at that moment, because it is about men and being men, हमारे भी दिल होते हैं, हमारे भी emotions होते हैं. So yeah, it takes a while to actually realize that you actually miss a part of yourself. And when you do that, that is when the void kicks in, and that is when you realize कि हाँ भाई breakup हो गया, now I need to figure this shit out.
बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट है that you are missing a version of yourselves. इस पे बहुत बार Instagram पे memes भी होते हैं कि a guy with the girlfriend is very different.
Yes.
A guy with friends is very different.
Yes.
So that's a version which generally comes out with the partner only. Yes. बहुत ही crazy pointer, because if I just look at my own relationship, right, I'm very different with my girlfriend. Right. I'm the same person, but she has seen a different side of me, which others haven't. Right. So
also there's like this spiritual element into it, because when we talk about intimacy, you share certain kind of intimacy with your friends also, but with your partner, you're also sharing sexual intimacy, where you're sharing the energies of each other. And you cannot do that with your friends.
Yes.
Right? You cannot do that. It might sound funny, but that's the reality. And that is why I said कि वो जो part होता है, वो जो हिस्सा होता है, and at the deepest core of human existence, no amount of money, no amount of career, no amount of social relations can give you the satisfaction of having that sexual intimacy with the right person.
ये बहुत अच्छा पॉइंटर है, because again this circles back to the fact why women think so much when it comes to their partner, child, but again it starts with a sexual intimacy.
For men, it's more about that intimacy that they are looking for.
Right. Yes. Apart from this, अभिनव आपने बड़ा अच्छा पॉइंटर मेंशन किया कि फ्रेंड्स कहते हैं कि यार चल दारू पीने चलते हैं. So next biggest challenge है, first biggest challenge है कि guys think कि यार I am not normal and they have no one to share things with.
Right.
Second biggest challenge is that whenever anything negative is happening in our lives, we are attracted to more of negative stuff. Yes. And the first solution दिमाग में जो आता है addictions, we have a full-fledged episode on that, episode 1 at Being Men. So addictions में जाने की chances बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाती हैं.
Right.
So apart from that, men में क्या है कि we have more access to addictive stuff. पहली चीज़ तो यही है कि हमारे फ्रेंड्स में मना होता है कि भाई दारू पीते सॉर्ट हो जाएगा. उससे क्या होगा, यू आर जस्ट डिलेइंग योर रिकवरी. और जितनी डिले कर रहे हो, अगेन इफ यू आर हैविंग अल्कोहल,
Right.
It's bad for your next date.
Yes.
It's bad for your dopamine. It's bad for your maybe how you're feeling, your mental brain function. So आज आपने you are basically borrowing happiness from tomorrow and day after tomorrow for 3 hours.
Right.
Tomorrow and day after tomorrow would be much worse. Right. So your breakup plus the hangover. That's a very messed up thing.
Yes, like completely right. Like you are going through a pain, and as we said, कुछ चीज़ें हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं होती. They are just somehow we are wired to behave in certain patterns, in certain manners. Of course, our DNA is the way that we've lived our lives, the situations, the kind of information that we've received, the kind of circle that we have, that affects a lot of these decisions. But addictions, I think it's the most common thing, whether it's smoking or drinking. I think this is one incident that actually can, because I remember that you said कि addiction शुरू कहाँ से होते हैं कि आप किसी substance को use कर रहे होते हो, and then there's an event that happens in your life जिससे इसका use ज़्यादा हो जाता है, and at that time I think these substances become an excuse to bring that pain down. Loss of, because at the end of the day you have lost someone from your life, right? Unless you've built a kind of a relationship with the other person where you still can be friends and stuff, but most of the times it won't happen like that. So वो pain को कम करने के लिए I think a lot of us we go into addictions, for example smoking or drinking, eventually realizing that those are not the right paths how to cope up with those breakups. Other kind of people I feel they go into the vengeance mode. बदला लूंगा मैं, कुछ करके दिखाऊँ. So they use the breakup as a motivation.
Yes.
I remember I used to see a lot of friends, and today also if I was scrolling through some Instagram because we were talking about breakup, तो मेरा ध्यान उसी पे जाता है, जो चीज़ के बारे में बात करनी होती है वो ज़्यादा ट्रैक्ट होने जाती है. So I see a lot of these youngsters in their early 20s and in teenage years जहाँ पे कुछ breakup हुआ and they are doing these dumbbells मार रहे हैं और साथ में ये there are these quotes going on कि she made me feel lonely, now see everyone is looking at me and this and that कि मुझे छोड़ के चलेगी और मैं देखो अब मैं क्या बन गया हूँ. So that is another thing that I've observed that happens apart from the addiction. So I think ये दोनों चीज़ें आपकी mental health के लिए सही नहीं है. So you should be a little cautious, like make peace with it. Firstly, come to a neutral kind of mindset where you have realized, okay, this has gone. Even if that means you have to give yourself some time to heal with that. But the more mature would be, let the time do its part. And if any kind of an energy like this vengeance or you feel like going through addictions, just check yourself once again.
Yes, also keep in mind that, sexual addiction is also one part that, you suddenly
Rebound.
change yourself, you become a fuckboy. And, you hurt your future partners because of that.
Yes.
Right? Because Instagram की बात हो रही है, मैंने कल परसों एक quote पढ़ा कि, the guys who are cheating, women are cheating because some women in the past at 18 years old did something to them.
Yes.
It's the stupidest way of going forward with things. Think about other humans also. Think about your future partners also.
Yes.
Right. Also think about respect your own body also. If you are just, see, if you want to engage in sexual activity, that's totally fine. But if you're just doing that to cope up from something else, I don't think that's a right way.
It's the same thing drinking or smoking. Like you might feel good while doing that activity, but the next day you feel like shit. Like everyone watching this, let's be honest. Like if you really have become a fuckboy after going through a breakup, do you really feel good after having that meaningless sexual intimacy with the person that you might not like and you might be doing it just for fun? Like, does it really give you peace? Does that really give you happiness? I'm sure like 90% people will be no. And the next day you always feel bad about that. And a lot of clients that I coach, they always say the same thing, and I always tell them, do not go for a rebound immediately, There's no time period ki 1 mahine baad, 2 mahine baad, but give yourself some time. Like let's say if you were in a relationship for let's say 2 years, give yourself time for like good 6 months until you are sure of yourself ki I'm over that particular period of mourning or that person has gone out of my life, and then you can continue your life in a normal way.
एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग स्टडी बताता हूँ कि स्टडी है मेन पे भी है विमेन पे भी है दैट इफ योर बॉडी काउंट इज मोर देन 5
राइट
चांसेस ऑफ योर you not being happy in your marriage are much higher, like increased by 78% or something.
Body count matlab?
Body count, the amount of people you have had sex
body
with.
amount, okay, right.
So ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है फीमेल्स के लिए भी है मेल्स के लिए. मुझे इसका लॉजिक ये लगता है, रीजनिंग बिहाइंड दिस मुझे ये लगती है कि if your body count is high, that's a sign that you are finding pleasure in these things.
Right.
And sooner or later when you are with the same partner long term,
Right.
you won't find the same pleasure you would with a new partner.
Right.
Right? It's like common sense. So if you start deriving happiness from them and you're teaching your brain कि भाई happiness यहाँ से ही आती है, then you know monogamous relationship आपके लिए
Right.
रखना जहाँ पे you just want to be with one partner would be very difficult.
Yeah, like also because I asked that question, body count, that tells that I have no idea what this really means, because I've always been someone who has been very focused individual in my life. So one part that definitely brings my focus back to the things that matter to me is that always been kind of a one woman guy, a one woman man. That helps me to stay focused on the other things very easily. And I think this is one of the other side effects that can happen, that if you are into that polygamous kind of relationships, you know, whatever your body count is, it's 5, 10, 15, whatever is, the chances of you being focused in your life will be less than if you were just involved with one person.
This is a great point because common sense wali baat hai. It's not just about sex. You have to do texting, right? You have to meet. Maybe you have to go out for dinners, right? You can do that, but you know, just ask yourself what your priority is. Now, talking about priorities, simple say, we talk about this a lot of times. Just divide your life into 3 parts.
Right.
Health, wealth, relationships.
Beautiful. Yes.
हर part को 33 marks दो.
Yes.
Right? So if your relationship is maybe 5 right now or even 0 right now, you can still score a 66 out of 100.
Yes.
Right? So focus on your, you know, health and wealth, because it's great time to, you know, level yourself up, not for revenge, but just for your own self growth. So, you know, this is how I score myself. Health 33, 0 to 33. Wealth 0 to 33. Relationship 0 to 33. That helps me stay balanced. And jo 1 bach gaya out of 100, that is for spirituality.
Right.
But again, if you are staying in harmony with all of these 3 things, with relationships, with your wealth and health, spirituality would automatically come in.
Definitely, I completely agree to it. And beautifully said as to, if someone is listening and if they are doubtful, ki, you know, if you are in a relationship and you don't know where it's heading and you are a little concerned as to what will happen if this goes down, start working on the other 2, the health and the wealth. The reason being is your health, it is like the purest form of existence. Your mind and body will only perform at its best when you are healthy. And why would you not want your body and mind to perform at its best? Because you just got one life. So, you know, take care of your health. Start watching more of Being Men videos so that you can become healthy. And wealth, of course, as we talked about wealth in our money episode also, it gives you a chance to restart from any point of your life, whether it's breakup, whether you've gone broke, whether you want to change your business, anything. If you have wealth, you can always restart. So these 2 can become a really good anchor. So that's a great pointer.
Also, see, goal should be becoming a high value man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
A man's value has to be earned no matter what. Right? As discussed in the episode on money.
Yes.
So, आपको अपनी value earn करनी है, and you know that might just help you get over your past.
Yes.
And get into even better relationship which suits you better long term.
Beautiful. And also, if you're healthy and wealthy, right, you can actually make your relationships even more beautiful.
Definitely, and getting and attracting a good partner, your chances increase very high.
Definitely.
सीधा सा logic है, Chris Williamson के podcast में सुना था, that 5% of men are competing for 80% of the women. 95% of men are competing for 20% of women.
Wow.
Right? Logic क्या है?
Repeat that again.
So 5% of men are competing for 80% of women.
Okay.
And 95% of men are competing for 20% of women.
Listen to this carefully.
In simple logic, you need to become a high value man.
Yes.
When it comes to all the pillars which matter in the relationship, your health matters for sure. Due to, what is it called? There's a word for this. Due to natural selection. Wealth matters for sure. And obviously relationships matter, spirituality matter, emotional control matters. So keep that in mind. Goal should be, even if you are in a good and happy relationship right now, goal should be becoming a high value man, because get into that 5% and you would have a lot of room to choose. Talking about breakup wala period, it's very important, specifically important not right now, but it's very important because it decides the fate of your future relationships. Right? So just think about that. This is also the best time to get real.
Yes.
Right? Number one thing is, it's time to get honest feedback from past for a better future.
Right.
राइट, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स हम क्या करते हैं, हमारा ब्रेन इज वायर्ड फॉर दैट, वी गो इन दैट डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म
Yes.
where we put all the blame on the partner
Yes.
and thinking I am the victim.
Yes.
एक सिंपल सा फ्रेज गाइस यूज करते हैं, यार ये तो पैसों के पीछे थी. होगी पैसों के पीछे, बट फीडबैक भी है
Yes.
दैट मे बी मनी फ्रंट इज समथिंग व्हिच यू हैव टू वर्क अपॉन.
Yes. Yes, I completely agree. I think this time is the best for introspections, seeing how you could have done things better, or a lot of time we say, teri type kya hai? We ask each other. But most of us actually, we don't actually know. So us time, the breakup period is the best time to actually understand what are we really looking for and what do we do not want in our life. I think वो clarity और आती रहती है, which makes your future relationships, it can make them smoother, and there are more chances कि वो ज़्यादा better हो सकते हैं. Also, as you said, ताली कभी भी एक हाथ से नहीं बजती, दोनों हाथों से बजती है. ब्रेकअप जिसने भी किया, चाहे it was your partner or you as a man who did that, see what were the mistakes that you made, what were the signs that you ignored, what were the red flags that you ignored. Because the introspection is very important during that time, and it is not something that you will understand about yourself just in one day. It takes a lot of courage. If you are someone who is emotional, and if you were really emotionally and intimately involved with your partner, it takes a while to understand what were the fuck-ups that you really made. Because until you understand what the fuck-ups were, the next time you're getting into a relationship, there are chances कि आप फिर से वो fuck-ups करोगे, and you will end up feeling the same manner. And there are a lot of people that I've met that do the same mistakes. हमें बस relationship चाहिए. That should not be the core reason of going into a relationship, that you are afraid to be alone, या आपके आसपास सभी relationship में और मैं भी जाना चाहता हूँ या चाहती हूँ. That should not be the reason, because next time you might feel worse and it might take you longer to get out of that. So अंदर झांको, देखो क्या गलतियाँ हुई हैं, एंड उन्हें करना बंद करो. It's easy to point finger at the other person, but trust me, it's way more difficult to actually go inside and find out who you really are, who you were, and what you can be in the future.
Look in the mirror.
Yes, look in the mirror.
Look
all
in
the
the
time.
mirror. And
Yes.
इसमें आपने कैसे इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करना है? सबसे पहले तो आप सोचो लीक्ड इन्फॉर्मेशन.
Yes.
See, understand, when you are in a relationship, a lot of times relationship is a very complex thing.
Yes.
Lot of times we and our partners, we don't talk in a very direct manner.
Yes.
So कई बार आपने बैठ के ये सोचना है कि यार जब लड़ाई हुई, कुछ पार्टनर ने कुछ ऐसा बोला था, थोड़ा आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट. लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स truth comes when there's lack of emotional control.
Yes.
Right? So think about the leaked information.
Yes.
Think about the causes of fights, and be true to yourselves, because a lot of times your partner might not just tell you the real cause of the breakup. Right? Think about that, and just ask yourself where you went wrong, instead of just blaming mode. जैसे अभी हमने mention किया कि it's very hard to look into the mirror.
Yes.
But that is what rewards you the most.
Yes. Also, Yash, I feel breakups for some people, they're very normal. If you're really good friends with someone, and if you really had good communication, the point that you just brought up, अगर communication सही होती है, breakups don't need to be too hard. I think breakups become really hard when one of the biggest reasons of you guys splitting apart is that you guys didn't communicate well with each other. There's a huge communication gap, and a lot of things said and unsaid. Both of them have existed. That confusion can actually cause more pain. Communication is one of the most important parts in any relationship. Even if you are breaking up, the breakups can be easier on you if the communication part is strong, because when you are breaking up, that communication part that has been stronger, you can communicate your feelings in a better manner, and you both can split apart with understanding as to what were the reasons that you guys are splitting apart, rather than being confused कि ये क्यों हो रहा है.
Yes.
Right? And when a lot of times men, when they're confused as to why this has happened, when the females break up with them, it takes a huge toll on their self-confidence. And that's why, and in an Indian culture, what I have observed through my family and through watching a lot of other people, a lot of other couples, वो Bollywood वाला ना अभी भी वो गया नहीं है अंदर से. People don't communicate. Very simple things, बुरा ना लग जाए अगले को. लड़कों को ऐसा लग रहा होता है कि भाई एक ही बंदी है मेरे पास, ये भी छोड़ के ना चली जाए, इसको कुछ बोलूँ, इसको बुरा लग जाए, ये किसी और से बात करने लग जाए. This does happen, and I am amazed at the point ki how desperate sometimes we as men can get in a relationship ki you know as a man you should be the one who should be leading the communication. Of course it's not about being a man or woman, but still कोई चीज़ अच्छी नहीं लगती है, समटाइम्स जस्ट कम्युनिकेटिंग इट विद द अदर पार्टनर कैन सॉल्व सो मेनी इश्यूज. नहीं तो वही पेंटअप होता रहता है एंड देन ब्रेकअप बूम एंड यू हैव नो फ्रिकन आइडिया व्हाट रियली हैपेंड एंड यू आर ऑल कंफ्यूज्ड एंड फॉर द नेक्स्ट 6 months 1 year you are only confused.
Yes, and this was a problem with me also for very long in my own relationship कि यार मैं communicate ही नहीं करता था because I was feared of rejection even after being in a relationship with a long-term partner. Right. So ये fear of rejection is always there before we before we have a partner and even during the relationship. But actual में honest communication start करनी है, start with yourself.
Yes.
Right. Get real with yourself. Right. Instead of saying that she just cared about money.
Yes.
You can also reverse it and think that okay, I need to make more money, right? Because that's going to serve you better instead of being the victim.
Yes.
Right. And again, communication is what matters. And if you want to learn more about relationship communication, please check out Impossible Love.
Yes, please.
We have a full we have a full podcast on that. Just concluded season 1.
Yes.
And it's just on relationships with my partner, where we talk about our own fuck ups. And talking about ad over. Now let's talk about. Let's start the favorite part of the episode. That's, what are our top 5 tips when it comes to dealing with breakups. And let's start with you, bro.
Let's do it. Okay. So tip number 1, this is a very common tip that I always give, even if I make reels and stuff. I always say time heals everything. Okay. Today, if you're feeling confused, whether you're a man or a woman, if you're confused, you are really emotionally attached with the other person and a breakup has happened, whatever we have said, don't do during the period of breakup. Don't do it. Wait for the time to heal those wounds, whatever they have been. I hope they are not physical wounds.
Kafi toxic ho jata
yes, that will be too toxic. I will be happy for you if you got out of that kind of a relationship. But if there are emotional wounds or you're missing that person, the time will heal everything. Just remember, it's just like an emotional scar, like a physical scar. It's an emotional scar which will take time to heal. And old memories and old energies of that person will be replaced by new people, new energies into your life. And just till that time, keep working on yourself and make sure that you're taking good care of yourself.
So my number 1 is find the real cause of breakup, right? Lot of times partner सीधा आके चिपका देता है, my parents won't agree. In today's world, what I personally feel is that if the child wants to make their parents agree, they would. And most of the times parents disagree when they feel the partner is not competent enough. Right. So instead of lying to yourself, it's harsh. But start with this. Be real. Just ask yourself real cause of relationship. It's fact of the matter is your partner won't ever speak the truth.
Yes.
Right, because they just don't want to hurt you, which is totally fine. Right, because they're just being nice to you.
Yes.
So instead of running after them to hear it from them, just ask yourself that can this be the reason? If that is, and if I can work upon that, just start working on it and focus on the things you can work upon. See, I'll talk about something. People, वैसे अभिनव ने भी same चीज mention करी थी कि people often think emotionally.
Yes.
While before getting into the relationship.
Yes.
But they start thinking rationally with their brain after getting into the relationship. And this is the case with most men and women. So that's why आपको कभी random लगता है relationship breakup होने का वो. It might just be because the partner did not think through. They were being too emotional earlier. They were liking the tension and everything else. Now when things are getting real, they think that there's no long-term vision or maybe you're not competent enough.
Yes.
And it can be hundreds of reasons, right? Yes. So just be rational on that, be real with yourself and find the real cause.
Right. Yes, preferences change and people can change with time. Perfect. Second one is in a relationship or out of a relationship, the relationship should never be the center of your life, whether you're a man or a woman. You need to have something which takes away your attention from all this clutter that's going in your head once you're done with the relationship. So as I said, relationship में जाने से पहले make sure you have some kind of anchor. This is how I start the video, but I will always say this anchor will be the biggest healing point for you. Once you get out of that relationship or a breakup happens, this is exactly what will take you to the next and the better version of yourself. And again, as I said, mostly it's वो हमारे याद आ रही है उसकी ठीक है, मिसिंग योर सेल्फ, ये जो भी इमोशनल हमें उस टाइम क्लटर फील हो रहा होता है दिमाग में, वो एनर्जी हमें चैनलाइज करने के लिए एक मीडियम मिल जाता है, जिससे एटलीस्ट ड्यूरिंग दैट पीरियड ऑफ रिकवरी वी आर नॉट गेटिंग इनटू काइंड ऑफ अ बैड हैबिट्स एज लाइक एडिक्शंस, और वी आर नॉट गोइंग इनटू अ रीबाउंड.
ये बहुत अच्छा पॉइंटर है. एक और चीज़ यहाँ पे मेंशन करूँगा कि यार वेन एवर वी आर गेटिंग इनटू द रिलेशनशिप, द पार्टनर, यू आर सीइंग वैल्यू ऑफ योर पार्टनर, you are seeing your partner is seeing your value, but keep in mind that you need to keep on building this value.
Yes.
But if your life becomes one-sided after getting into the relationship, then you're just reducing your value. Just think about the value equation: health, wealth, relationship, spirituality. आपने 100 के जितने ज़्यादा नंबर क्लोज करोगे, top 5% men में आना है, and that would change the game.
Right.
My next pointer is very similar to Abhinav's first pointer. He was like, allow time. My pointer is allow yourself to feel the feeling. Else it would hurt you forever. Right? आप जितना चीज़ों को अंदर दबाओगे, it kind of starts becoming trauma, and that might just come out in your future relationships. Right? A lot of time. Also avoid distractions which are messing you up. That means addictions. Don't become a fuckboy. Lot of people are become totally changed. And they hurt their future partners because they did not fix something. So, allow yourself to feel the feeling. It's okay if you are not feeling fine. It's okay if you feel like crying. Right? Because ये guys में stigma होता है कि रो रहे हो तो वो लड़कियों वाली बात है. It's fine. Just feel the feeling. And because if you feel it right now, it won't hurt you later.
I've cried a lot after my breakups, and it has actually been one of the better things that I've done, because that has helped me to cope up with all the feelings. As I said, किसी भी emotion को अगर आप अंदर दबा के रखोगे, we have talked about this in our meditation episode also, it will somehow manifest itself in some kind of an health issue, in some kind of an organ, because they say different kinds of emotions, they affect different kinds of organs. For example, बहुत ज़्यादा अगर आप गुस्सा दबा के रखते हो तो आपके हार्ट के ऊपर सबसे ज़्यादा होता है, तो बीपी वगैरह के इश्यूज शुरू हो जाते हैं. अगर आपको ट्रस्ट के इश्यूज हो गए हैं उसके बाद आपके लिवर पे सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट होता है. सो अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस और प्रॉब्ली डूइंग सम रिसर्च अबाउट दिस might motivate you to start sharing your feelings in an appropriate manner with a person with whom you can trust. It can be your mom, it can be your dad, जिसको आप ट्रस्ट कर सकते हो. सो एक्सप्रेसिंग योर इमोशंस, दैट वाज एक्चुअली माय सेकंड पॉइंट, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, कि एक्सप्रेसिंग योर इमोशंस एंड वेंटिंग आउट वट एवर यू आर फीलिंग. या ठीक होता है कई बार गुस्से में आप बोलना चाहते हो कि या उसने ऐसे किया, ये किया, वो किया, दैट इज़ फाइन. लाइक फॉर अ टेम्परेरी पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इट इज़ फाइन बिकॉज यू वॉन्ट टू वेंट आउट, राइट. बट अगर आप उसे दबा लोगे, देन दोज वेंजफुल थाट्स इवेंचुअली आप ही का नुकसान करने वाले, बिकॉज दैट टॉक्सिसिटी यू आर कैरिंग विद योर सेल्फ, एंड एनी नेगेटिव फीलिंग यू आर कैरिंग विद योर सेल्फ. द वन आई रिमेंबर दैट वी हैड दिस कन्वर्सेशन इन वन ऑफ द प्रीवियस एपिसोड्स, कि बीइंग एंग्री एट समवन एंड थिंकिंग कि the other person would be affected is like drinking poison and thinking the other person will die. Right? तो कोई भी toxic feelings है आपके अंदर, वो आपको you have to find a medium, a way to get them out. and gym जाके तोड़ने से डंबल या ग्लास वगैरह कुछ तोड़ने से वो feelings नहीं जाती. you have to talk them out, because when you will be talking them out, you will be able to make sense as to what you are really feeling. And a lot of time these breakups, when you're carrying this amount of revenge for the other person or bad feelings, you actually don't know. And when you start talking, you realize कि actual में कुछ है नहीं है मेरे अंदर. It's just something I've made up. It's just a feeling or emotion that I've made up. But if you start talking and keep doing it, you start seeing that you have started talking more rationally, and you now become a more rational human in life. That makes you a better human in life, because you will take better decisions. Better decisions will help you to take better actions, and better actions will give you better results and make you a better person.
And it would make you a high value man.
Yes.
Another thing which I would like to mention is थोड़ा सा boring tip है, but also apart from talking, if you can do some writing, do that, because writing makes you think, and if you're thinking clearly, you would actually have all the answers which we have discussed. And get out of that victim mode, because see, victim mode is just helping you short term. Long term, it's just taking you away from a happier future. Right. So keep that in mind. Next pointer is focus on becoming a high value man. Top 5%. Top 5% के लिए life भी much better है, because a man is nothing without discipline. Right? And whatever is making you a high value man, better health, better wealth, better emotional stability, leading to better communication and better relationships. All of these would change the game, and you will be able to live a happier life. इसका दूसरा ऑल्टरनेटिव क्या है? आप अभी विक्टिम हो, पूरी जिंदगी ये विक्टिम कार्ड लेके घूमते रहो कि यार मेरे साथ किसी ने किसी टाइम पे कुछ किया था, शॉर्ट टर्म ठीक है, खुद को आपको अच्छा लगता रहेगा, बट इन एक्चुअल लुक एट योर लाइफ क्वालिटी, इट वुड गो डाउन, राइट? फोकस ऑन बिकमिंग अ हाई वैल्यू मैन. ऑल्सो एक और चीज़ मेंशन करूंगा, दिस इज रिलेटेड टू अभिनव्स प्रीवियस पॉइंट, दैट अभिनव ने बड़ी मेच्योर बात करी, दैट टॉक, बट टॉकिंग में कई बार हम गलत कहाँ चल जाते हैं, वी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग शिट, राइट? सो अवॉइड दैट. एंड
Perfect. So, Mera next point is similar to the one that you said, the high value man. And one of the things that you have to do to become a high value man is to build a strong routine. Breakup के बाद जितना जल्दी हो सके, find a routine for yourself. A morning routine, a work routine, a nighttime routine. जितनी जल्दी आप yes, be man. जितनी जल्दी आप ये routine fix कर सकते हैं, जितनी जल्दी आप disciplined हो सकते हैं, एक पर्टिकुलर टास्क को पर्टिकुलर टाइम एलोकेट कर सकते हैं, उतनी जल्दी आप उस फेज से बाहर आ जाओगे. अगर आप सही में जल्दी आना चाहते हो, अगर उसमें पड़े रहना चाहते हो, तब कोई रूटीन मत फॉलो करो. बट इफ़ यू रियली वांट टू गेट आउट ऑफ इट, build a strong routine for yourself as soon as possible, because for a man, even Jordan Peterson, I think I won't take few names because it will become a little controversial. Every masculine figure or idol that has been followed in this world, they all agree to one thing: routine saves men. Like, having a strong routine is a must for every man in this world who wants to achieve anything or just get out of this breakup mode also.
मैं हंस इसलिए रहा था बिकॉज मेरे को समझ आ गया था who would you be talking about, but चलो let's skip it. Next is ensure you protect your self respect during this time. बहुत बार क्या होता है कि you just become very needy because especially after the first relationship, what happens is that that's a new feeling altogether, and the first breakup is also a new feeling, and you are missing your version which only used to come out with the partner, right? But what I would suggest is protect your self respect with anything, right? एक और भी चीज़ बताऊंगा इसमें, मैं आपको लॉजिकल चीज़ भी समझाता हूँ. A breakup has happened, right? The partner has left you maybe, right? Now you have two options. One is that you accept it, you accept the fact that this person does not want to stay with me,
right,
and you save your self-respect,
right.
That might actually increase chances of you guys patching up in future,
right,
because maybe that breakup is impulsive,
right.
On the other hand, if you are now running after the partner,
right,
बार बार मैसेज कर रहे हो, अलग अलग नंबर से मैसेज कर रहे हो, वो ब्लॉक कर रहा है आपका पार्टनर, आप अपनी सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट को नहीं बचा रहे, जस्ट एक्टिंग नीडी. ह्यूमंस hate, deep inside we are wired for that, humans hate neediness,
yes,
right? Because neediness जहाँ भी सेंस हो जाती है, उधर humans को लगता है कि यार this I am much higher in value than this person. This is a very subconscious thing,
yes,
right? क्योंकि that's why this person is acting needy.
right.
तो जितने आप पीछे भागोगे उतने आगे आपका पार्टनर भागेगा.
yes.
Just understand this. So even if you want to patch up, just explain your side and just maintain your self-respect, and that would serve you better.
That's a very good point. And see, at the end of the day, neediness just means desperation. You're desperate to be with that person, and it's not just the relationship. Even if in business you are needy, you're putting someone on a pedestal, and once you put someone on a pedestal, you give them the right to use and abuse as they want. And whether you're a man or a woman, you should not want that. Like, that is the last thing, because that will be even a bigger kick to your gut if you allow someone to do that to you. So neediness and desperation is a big no-no in any scenario.
सेल्स का तो एक्चुअली रूल होता है दैट एज सून एज द अदर पर्सन सेंसेस कि यू आर डेस्परेट फॉर द सेल और एनीथिंग, दैट पर्सन गेट्स टर्न्ड ऑफ. एंड keep that in mind, because see, being desperate is a sign that you know that you don't deserve this thing,
or you are of low value.
Yeah, you're of low value, or maybe you're thinking that. And guys के और even women के cases में इस वाले सिनेरियो में क्या होता है, your value is higher, but इन चीज़ों से आपकी वैल्यू गिर रही है. अब इसमें क्या हो रहा है, चलो आपका पार्टनर तो वैल्यू नहीं कर रहा, वो तो गया. In future, your value in front of your own eyes has reduced, because deep inside you remember how much you begged and the person said no.
Yes.
Right? So non-neediness might be the key to a better future for you, better for relationships, and maybe for the relationship which you want to revive.
Yeah, if you want that person badly, present a better version of yourself to that person. You might have a better chance than being needy or desperate. So next one will be ki, rather than focusing on things that you miss about yourself or them, think about how it is much better without them. It's very cringy, right? But sometimes you use these techniques just to get that person out of your mind. So, think of the things that were not good in that relationship, the kind of fights that you were having with that person, the way that person made you feel, how free you are now and how much time you have for taking care of your goals and ambitions and to become a better person, to become a high value man or a woman. So sometimes just focusing on these things, it does help you. It might have a very small amount of contribution in the whole self improvement thing after that, but ये definitely काम करेगा, because at the end of the day it is all about priming your mind. It is all about training your subconscious mind in a certain way. So I'm not saying hate that person, but see the bad phases or the bad feelings that you had during that relationship that you are not having now, and that might help you to get over that soon.
Although your brain would be in a mode, because we have something called loss aversion. That means we care much more about losses than the gains. But yes, if you can think about that actively, write about that maybe, that can actually help you.
Also because, when you are so involved with the other person, आपने ना future का सारा plan कर लिया होता है थोड़ा बहुत कि चलो, you always have that in mind if you're really committed, if this breakup is affecting you. That means you were planning to actually get engaged to that person or get married to that person and start something, family or something, whatever it is. So there's that loss that you feel at that point of time. So just thinking about that, you can always rethink कि अगर मैं उस road पे जाता, so these are the things that could have gone wrong, and now I'm
बाद में
safer.
ये चीज होती है, सोचो बाद मतलब breakup is much better than a divorce, according to me.
Yes. So think of it as an experimental divorce for you, so that you don't have the real one, and you have the enough of learnings for yourself to make that main thing work.
This is a good point, because in the end life is all about perception, right? मैं तो tattoo perception पे बनवाया. So this reminds me, we need to do an episode on tattoo. So guys, keep your perception right, and you will change the game. How you look at the world, how you look at things can change the game. So last but not the least, ensure that you protect respect of your ex-partner also. Guys, please stop doing that, stop slut shaming your ex, because that person's name was associated with yours. Keep that in mind, right? So if a lot of times guys go into that mode ki yaar, she was after money, she's whatever wrong words they can use, whatever wrong information they can spread about their partner, even if it is sexual, it's very wrong. That shows your character. So, one of the biggest red flags in any person in a relationship is that this person talks about their ex in a shitty way, right? Because yes, you would be tempted to do that. Please respect your ex, because your ex is a human, someone's child. Yes, something wrong might have happened with you. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा. But don't fall down to level of others, or even worse level, just to make yourself feel better short term. So work on that, and I think you'll change the game.
Perfect, guys. So I hope ki you got 2 bits of our minds on this dealing with breakups topic, and please let us know in the comments how did you find it, and make sure ki subscribe and click the bell icon for more episodes like this. With that note, I'm going to see you soon in the next video. Till next time, keep going, keep growing stronger.
See you.